Hi guys, and welcome to Dante Speak, my new YouTube channel for trumpet. Today I'm going to do a reaction video on a video that was released by Peter Bond, a good friend of mine who has had a legendary career in the New York Met, and he released a video that I like very much. It was just released on Facebook. I couldn't find it on YouTube, but I'd like to react to it, not because I object to anything he says, but I want to expand on a few things that he does say in this video. I'm going to do many more of these. I thought I'd start off with one that's a little bit more positive, but there's an ocean of bullshit out there on the internet, and I thought that more people that collect paychecks from trumpet playing should respond to it. Again, I have the highest respect for Peter, so let's get into the video.
Hello friends, this is Peter Bond from the Trumpet Perch or Trumpet Studio in the mountains of north central New Mexico, I guess, just east of Albuquerque. This is my trumpet studio. I've moved from the cave to the mountains, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the very most basic things about playing the trumpet, and these are the elements from which all other things spring, all other techniques, all problems usually stem back to this, and they are taking a breath and starting a tone.
Okay, I totally agree with that. That's where most problems begin. I totally agree.
On the face of it, just the simplest, possible thing. Most of us were taught to go, all right? And Arbin says as much, and any number of other teachers. I found that to be the beginning of a host of all kinds of problems, or the beginning of a host of problems. And it took me many years to learn that you don't have to do that.
Okay, it takes a lot of courage to put something on the internet that says such a thing. I mean, this is really courageous of Peter, but it's true. And he's going to take a lot of shit for it. Let's listen.
You don't have to blow sound through the trumpet. In fact, that's not how this trumpet works. Sound travels at 768 miles an hour. We can blow wind at maybe 30 miles an hour, maybe. So the two aren't related at all. All the wind does is fire this up, which in turn fires this up. And so to that end, I recommend articulating and releasing the sound just as you would to sing. Happy birthday to you, whatever the song might be. In this case, I'm going to start with a T. Can't think of a song off the top of my head. How about this song? Ta 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 ta.
Okay, this part I don't totally agree with, okay? Because when you sing, you're creating tension in your glottis to make that sound. So I don't necessarily agree with ta 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 ta, because I can feel some tension here. Let's see what he says after.
So instead of doing anything weird or mechanical or placing my tongue in this position or that position, I want to make it as close to the way I speak or sing as possible. Ta 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 ta. And you may, if you try this yourself, you may notice, or I would ask you as a student, how much air did that take? Da 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 da. Almost nothing. Certainly no wind. Now that's the current model, right? In most universities, is that wind business. It's not necessary.
Yeah, the wind business is not entirely necessary. We do need a little bit of air, but not wind.
It works, but it's also limiting, and I can talk about that later. I just want to make it as close to speech as possible, or speech and song, rather. Da, 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 da. And I'm moving the engine from here to there. Probably the closest physical model is whispering. Da, 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 da.
Okay, yes, I do agree with that completely. Whispering, because when you whisper, your throat is wide open. Your throat's wide open. There's no tension here. Your throat's nice and big. Okay? But as soon as you start talking, you can feel something here, right? But whispering's perfect. It's a great analogy. I love it.
And then, because we don't want to make a vocal sound while we play. But anyway, so I'm not going to use any wind per se.
Yeah, it's not that we don't want to make a vocal sound. It's that when we do speak with our voice, there's resistance here in the glottis area. Glottal, I don't even know if that's a word. But yes, whispering like this is great. I love it.
Da, 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 da. And I want to keep the chops like jello, so they're going to respond on nothing and pick some easy pitch. And frequently the sound will be a little bit obnoxious, and very, very bright. And that's a good thing. We can always back off of that. but I'm getting, the horn is jumping in my hands. I'm getting an instant response. I'm getting quite a vibrant, loud sound, and I'm not doing anything. It's almost as if I'm defying physics. I'm getting more out of this end than I'm putting in that end. Not true, but yeah, that's what it seems like. We're tempted to blow the trumpet or think in terms of physical strength because the trumpet is so brilliantly designed and it's capable of tremendous dynamic range. Right? We equate that with physical strength. He's a powerful trumpet player. He must be physically strong, or etc. Again, not the case. In fact, that's the absolute opposite of efficiency. Efficiency is getting the most for the least. So I want to go.
Yes, getting the most for the least. For the minimum input, getting the maximum output. This is the fundamentals of my teaching.
Da, 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 da. And a lot of times this will open a student's, open the possibilities. Oh, I'm getting a lot of sound for almost no physical effort. And we might goof around on it. Different notes.
You can see that he's not even really breathing and he's putting out this massive amount of sound. How much air are you really going to be able to fit through that hole? You're not going to be able to fit that much air through that hole. We don't need a lot of air for that hole.
Excuse me, I get used to playing with my left hand because I conduct with my right hand at my summer festival. Siwani. So hence the weird technique.
Siwani Music Festival with Peter Bond. Go there and hang out with this guy. He is a guru.
What about a long note? Da 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 da. Support it like you support your voice. We don't go da 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 da. You don't have to. You don't blow the voice. Da 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 da. Whether you're singing loud or soft. All right. It's more of a it's a little bit of pressurization and a little bit of pressurization. What's the word I'm looking for?
Okay, now he's talking about like what he thinks about support basically, and what he's saying is you would use the same kind of support you would use if you were singing, whether you're singing loud or soft, it would be that same level of support. I did touch on this kind of stuff in one of my videos a while back, and it talks about like projecting your voice. Even if you want to project your voice quietly, your body automatically prepares itself to do that. So your approach should be the same when you're blowing the horn. There shouldn't be any more or any less tension, I think is what he's saying. Let's listen.
I'm supporting pressurization, supporting vibration. Oh, acoustical. It's an acoustical phenomenon as opposed to like a pneumatic one, like a gas station air hose or something like that. Sorry, the word escaped me for a second. All right, let's hold the last note. And to that end, I want to keep my chest elevated like I would to sing. Da, 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 da. You may have noticed in other videos I've talked about this. If you blow, the chest tends to collapse. If you sing, it stays elevated. All right?
I also agree with this, but I think sometimes it's not. It can be talked about better, okay? Chest high means like you're having good posture, like somebody's pulling you up by the hair in your head like this, okay? But really, all we need is the support muscles that we just talked about projecting your voice. We need those muscles to work. And I don't want to say tensing or nothing like shoving your gut through the trumpet, nothing like that. It's allowing these intercostal muscles to work properly, like a hand around a tube of toothpaste, to control that expiration without letting the integrity of your structural posture to collapse, I think is what he means.
The two are completely different functions. We're taught to blow, usually, but the singing model works also. In fact, it works better. So, da, 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 da. Sometimes I'll sing in falsetto.
Okay, this I totally agree with, falsetto. Definitely. I mean, you can do this experiment right now. This is great for brass playing. If you just talk normally and you keep your hand where your Adam's apple would be, I don't have an Adam's apple either because I don't have one and my neck's too fat and I can't feel it, but I can kind of feel it, right? And then if you sing in falsetto, you can feel something in there move. You can feel your whole throat will open up. If you just talk normal, you can feel it down here. And if you talk like this, then suddenly your throat is all open. And it makes a very nice open throat feeling, which is the ideal throat position for trumpet playing. And it should be whispering. Or it should be falsetto. If you whisper and you do falsetto, you'll find that your throat opening will feel pretty much exactly the same.
Girl, because the trumpet sounds an octave or more out of my vocal range. Da, 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 da. I don't want to take a tuba breath and then play, an octave or two.
Yeah, he said he doesn't want to take a tuba breath. And another reason for that would be that we're not playing a tuba. We're trying to fit all that air. Why the fuck? Okay, I'm taking this camera back. We're going to put all that air through that tiny little hole, okay? It just doesn't make sense, guys. This is not what we need to do.
Higher. So I breathe for the character of the music and the range in which I'm going to play. And in this case, I'm pitching my voice. Da! So you might fool around with some of these ideas. And it's very easy to experiment with. And just remember that wind is not necessarily sound. There are times when we do, when we really do need that, but it's really in extreme places of extreme range and dynamics. I mean, really extreme. You should be able to play. That range with no more energy than you would to sing.
I totally agree with that. Low G to top G, 2 octaves, should take 0 effort.
All right. If you find yourself having to use more wind power to create those notes than you do to sing, chances are you may want to make a little adjustment here.
I totally agree with that, because that means that your vibrating surface is not isolated in an ideal way. And it might require a small adjustment, not an embouchure change, okay? Not an embouchure change, just a small adjustment. You don't have to overthink this. Let's see what he says next.
People do there's all kinds of ways to do things to make things inefficient here. One of them is overlapping the lips.
I totally agree with this. This is the worst thing ever. Like isometric lip compression in the middle of the mouth where the mouthpiece is, okay? We do need some tension here in the corners, but never in the middle. And what he's saying now is this isometric M. When we talk about placing the mouthpiece, we say M to place it, but then we don't keep saying M. We're not actively trying to buzz the lips. We're just trying to set them up and isolate them in an ideal position to vibrate instantly.
You'll hear a dead covered sound, and then to get any kind of action going, you really have to blow pretty hard. And so if you find yourself in that situation, maybe experiment with a little bit of, maybe I can make ideally you want your lips even, your teeth even, and that's in a perfect world,
I agree with this. Everyone has different teeth and mouth formations and stuff, but he said we want our lips even and our teeth even. If our teeth are like this, okay, if this is our top teeth and our bottom teeth here, we want the line in the lips to be centered between that opening in the teeth aperture, okay? I get what he's saying here.
Doc Severinsen might have been the perfect textbook example of the perfect trumpet player. And all of us are, variations on that. So if you're getting it, or having a hard time getting a clear sound, you might try bring my teeth forward a little bit, my lower jaw shows my bottom lip a little bit.
Yeah, so he's talking about like if your sound has a lot of tension in it, to just kind of pull your lips apart slightly, okay, not dramatically, but slightly. That's what we want to think about, right? Not it gets all stuck in your throat, right? We want the lips isolated in a way by the mouthpiece. That's the mouthpiece's job, to isolate the lips. And we want the lips positioned in that isolated configuration so they will buzz the easiest that they possibly can.
Feels a little weird. It'll feel goofy. But all of a sudden, I'll get a lot more action. And there's no tension involved. It's just like changing my grip on a tennis racket or
no tension involved. and not a big deal to make a small adjustment like that. Some people really freak themselves out about this stuff. I'll tell you what, I'm changing my mouthpiece placement up and down quite a lot, and I still got a job.
Baseball bat, it's very small, very tiny, like a millimeter. But anyway, these are just some ideas. So instead of attacking a note, I think of, singers call it initiating the sound. I think of releasing the sound. Da, da. You can even do something like this. You can go. Now this will get you burned at the stake at the trumpet convention, right? This is like, no, don't never do that, okay? But again, that comes from the pneumatic wind-based school. If you lock up your air, then you have the danger of the explosive tone. And
I'm not really sure if I can get behind that, especially for younger players. I think it's an advanced technique, actually. I think it'd be better to just, when you're a younger player, to focus on being able to turn that air around as quickly as you can without any restriction, like a golf swing or like throwing darts. I think, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it there. I think it's dangerous for young players.
Or maybe not be able to start on time and all manner of nonsense like that. Whereas, if you think of releasing the sound vocally, da, you can do whatever you want. And so, in those instances where maybe you're playing in the ballet, as I found myself doing, or the conductor's watching the stage and you're accompanying something happening on the stage, and he goes, and you've got to go, boom. You don't get to go, da. We seldom have that luxury. So, these are some ideas you might want to goof around with. All right, I'll say goodbye for now.
So that's a great video. I love it. And, I'm going to review a lot of videos. And I'm going to review some of the ones that really get on my nerves, too. So I'm going to make some enemies. I don't care. Thank you, Peter. I didn't mean any offense. If I did offend you, please let me know. And I'll buy you a beer the next time I'm in New Mexico. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and have a good one.